KOCO is committed to making sure you are informed about what you're voting for. We have our team of reporters spread out right now across our state at several watch parties, including the race for governor and the state question to raise minimum wage. We have you covered. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to welcome you in here. I'm Jessica Shambach.
I'm Evan Onstadt. So yes, if you are in line by 7 o'clock, you will get to vote tonight. One of the biggest races is we are voting on who you would like to see be Oklahoma's next governor. It's a crowded field, 9 Republicans. We also have many more Democrats. We have independents in the race. We're also highlighting the race for attorney general, state superintendent, and more. So tonight, the race for governor will narrow quite a bit. One man does have President Donald Trump's endorsement. That's Mike Mazzei.
KOCO's Dakota Wapakichi joining us live in Bixby, Dakota, where Mazzei has his watch party.
Yeah, Mike Mazzei is hoping to hear his name become in that Republican runoff. Of course, that would be in August, but of course, he's really hoping to become the nominee tonight. Mazzei is a former state senator. He's focused on finances there, and he was formerly a part of Governor Kevin Stitt's team as a secretary in that administration. He's focused on tax cuts in his campaign, but he's also focused in on education, saying certain reading requirements in Oklahoma need to be gone. He's also focused on public safety, specifically around foreign land ownership. Now, again, Mike Mazzei is the only candidate in this governor race to have the endorsement from President Donald Trump. Trump has said that Mazzei will never let Oklahoma down and that Mazzei is a MAGA warrior. Of course, if he's going to become the Republican nominee, he would need to get 50% plus 1 vote to do that. It's unlikely. We'll see if that goes to a runoff. As you can see, the stage is behind me there. We've got the big sign, some American flags, the Oklahoma flag. We're going to watch those results as they come in. Those results will start flowing into our newsroom around 7 p.m. in Bixby. I'm Dakota Wapakichi, KOCO 5 News.
All right, Dakota, thank you. And Mazzei not the only top contender, according to recent polling in the governor's race. Like we said, this is a crowded race with 9 Republican candidates wanting your vote.
Not only that, there's experience and a lot of names that voters are familiar with, which is now where we want to go to with KOCO's Chantel Navarro. Chantel, you are outside Gentner Drummond's watch party tonight.
Yep, that's right, guys. I'm at VFW Post 577 right here behind me. Doors open for journalists in about 30 minutes, and then an hour after that, it's going to be open to supporters as well. And there is a lot on the line tonight for AG Gentner Drummond here tonight. Now, we've been telling you since he launched his campaign, we've reported how he's continued to pursue a number of high-profile legal cases. And that includes the fight over the religious charter school as well. We know Drummond has invested millions. We're talking $3 million out of his own pocket into this race. But one of the biggest questions tonight is whether a candidate's statewide name recognition and record can actually outweigh that presidential endorsement. And like Dakota just said, Trump backed Mike Mazzei late last month. That really turned this primary into a test of just how much that endorsement actually moves the voters, how much Drummond's record actually moves the voters as well. Are they going to weigh the president's endorsement over that? And with such a crowded field, another big question remains as well. Is anybody going to be able to pull off that 50% threshold, or are we going to see this August runoff? We'll just have to wait and see. For now, live in Tulsa, Chantel Navarro, KOCO 5 News.
Chantel, thanks so much. Yes, many political experts, of course, expecting with such a crowded field, with so many people in the race, that we will see a runoff come August, but we're going to be following it. And again, jam-packed race on the Republican side. A
lot of candidates are wanting your vote. Let's continue our live team coverage now with KOCO's Jason Berger. He's live at the state capitol. Jason, we said 9 Republican candidates in this race.
Well, guys, that's right. And up until today, 3 of them have been trailing Mike Mazzei and Gentner Drummond in the polls. But tonight we will see if one of them can get to a runoff. Now, we'll start with Chip Keating, whose watch party is here in OKC tonight. He's running heavily on public safety and law and order issues. His campaign focuses on supporting law enforcement, including cracking down on illegal marijuana grows and drug cartels, border security, as well as immigration enforcement. Now, Charles McCall's watch party is in Norman. His campaign has focused heavily on conservative cultural issues and the America First agenda, opposition to transgender participation in girls' sports, and conservative social values. Now, there's also Jake Merrick, and his watch party is in Tuttle tonight. He has run a grassroots outsider candidate focused on faith, family, freedom, constitutional government, and as well as political transparency. His campaign emphasizes Christian values and limited government. Now, once again, we will see tonight if any one of those three can move on to a runoff election to take on Gentner Drummond and Mike Mazzei, if that is where the polls end up. At the Capitol, Jason Berger, KOCO 5 News.